And so that bolt there, you guys can see, you got 2 snapped studs. And I haven't touched any of this. 367,000 miles. I just looked at how many miles this thing had. I guess you'll see in another video if I remember how to put this thing back together. All right, guys, so I've decided to film this one. I'm working on this for the better part of last night and into today, and it gets interesting. So there's a lot of things that I do in the background that I don't film because obviously the money has to come somewhere. I'm not just buying all these performance parts with, you know, money I just shot out of my ass. But we got a 2020 Ford in, and like I said, I wasn't gonna make a video about it. It was supposed to be just a simple up pipe, you know, nothing crazy. And I could see where the exhaust is leaking around it, so I'm like, okay, cool, we'll just order the part and replace it. It's been about 30 minutes since I filmed that last clip, but then, once we, because I'm the one fucking doing this, I get down in there, and it's leaking from that back manifold. You can see all the soot all over everything. And if we come over here and look at the gasket, it's really not all that bad. I did have to beat the shit out of it to get it out. This clamp was an absolute whore. But it's okay. It's probably going to be a lot of vulgar in this video just because of the fact that this is not an easy job, but it is a doable job. There's no reason to pull the cab for this. So what we're going to do, we're going to pull the turbo. I was told do not do the driver's side unless absolutely needed because those bolts snap. Now, if those bolts were to snap, it's not the biggest deal in the world because there is a kit to fix those. You just drill in and it keeps everything straight. I don't have that kit. We would have to wait on it. But again, we're not doing that side. We are focused on this side. I am going to be cleaning out all of the EGR, the intake, all this stuff. I'm going to clean this out because that's gross. Vacuum this out, clean the turbo out, pull this pipe off, and we'll go from there. So yeah, that's where we're pretty much at. And the reason this is off, this fucking thing snapped. Everything in this engine bay is so brittle. This thing has about 400,000 miles on it. So, and I know someone was in here before because if you go down there, you see that little socket right here? Just chilling right in there. Look at all that. Somebody was in here before. So this is my screwdriver. So I pretty much went through and got a lot of that out. Look at how disgusting that is. I'm gonna try to get a little bit more out of there, but that's nasty. We also got out of here. So same thing with the intake over here. Gonna clean all this out. Like this is, the EPA says this is good for the environment. What's a solid shitstorm in there? Look at that. All of this is going to fall into the engine eventually. It's gnarly. Also, when I pulled the crankcase thingy off, first of all, it broke, but this was leaking oil. This thing's got like 40,000 miles on it from what I understand, so this needed to be replaced 100% anyway. And then when I pulled this off, it was just caked in oil. There was so much oil in the top here. Like it was just, it was making a mess. But yeah, this thing was covered in oil. So next step, it's gonna be fun. We gotta get that manifold off. So let's start doing that. Get this intake off. Chances of getting any time lapses in this are pretty slim, but pretty much what I did, I pulled the hose off and then I just put a vacuum down here, sucked all the coolant out as it was coming out so it didn't get into anything. And I am gonna get down here to the downpipe. Should be able to access that right there. And in theory, I should be able to get an extension and my ratchet in there, but we'll see. So once the downpipe's off, we get the V-band out, then there's just 4 bolts, and then the turbo should come right out. So, and you're probably wondering, you know, that's a lot of stuff and bolts and this and that. So other than like 3 bolts, which I'll figure out as I put everything back together, everything goes back where it goes. So I put everything in their hole. That one of them we're gonna be missing because I'm pretty sure the fuel bow goes to one of those. And then everything up here, like everything, I'm out of carts. So I got a cart over there, we're doing a motor, cart over there. I got another motor torn apart, and that cart has been used for like my miscellaneous junk. So I need to go buy like 3 more of those. But yeah, that's how I'm keeping everything organized. This, I believe, was just done not too long ago. This is the coolant pipe here, and there's an O-ring on it. Like I said, we'll clean all of that up, replace what we need to. We're probably gonna end up just ordering a full turbo mount kit because we're obviously gonna have to. No sense throwing all this stuff in there without doing it. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab that a while, and I'll let you guys know where we're at. All right, we're getting there. Wipe. So we got all 4 bolts out of the turb ski, and back here I got 1 part of the clamp I gotta break the back to, because V-bands are a pain in the ass. If you guys don't understand, I've been dealing with V-bands for a long time. All right, so here's a small V-band, and these are even more of a pain in the ass because they're so small, whereas the big ones have some give to them. So you have to break one or the other free first, and then you can go for the next section. Yeah, the middle section doesn't go free unless you get one of the others first. Also busted a finger open, but it is what it is. So that's all we got left, and then this turbo is going to come out, and then I'm going to start seeing what it takes to pull this manifold, because I've never done a manifold before on these turbos. I'm not going to say they're not a big deal, but not a big deal. Manifold, it's going to be fun. So we'll see what we see under those bolts. I guarantee you every single fucking one of them is going to snap. Yeah, so let's get this thing, let's get this pulled out and go from there. So I'm gonna call it now. Either someone was in here before, or bolts have snapped underneath of that. I was gonna try to move this out of the way and see. Oh. Someone had to have been in here before. So according to the bulletin, I'm gonna pull this fucking side off too. And we got those nuts off. I gotta get the 15 mil nut off there. And I gotta pull the down pipe. I'm gonna not remove that first. I'm gonna try to remove it just up there. Actually, fuck, no, there's a 10 millimeter behind there. So yeah, this is gonna fucking suck. All right, so Ford tells you need to remove that down pipe. You need to do all this and that. And I started getting at it, and these bolts on this thing, so I got those, and then that one up there, and it's honestly just so tight, the bolts that are in the downpipe, I don't want to snap them. I went online and I looked up some pictures, and I saw a guy actually did one. I think it was a 2016, or in between 2011 and 2016, and I saw he had all 3 of the backs connected, so both up pipes and the down pipe. So what I did, first things first, I had it coming over here to the chain, a little bit of a ratchet strap. And then once I saw that it finally broke free from the pedestal itself, then I pulled it forward under here, again to the chain. And then I took this in here, got it back in between the downpipe and the turbo where the flange is at, and just kind of a little bit of smacks. And then she broke free, look at that. So I'm gonna pull this thing out. And you're supposed to pull out and twist 20 degrees to avoid that. So I'm gonna see if I can get this out here in a second, throw the music back on, and I'll show you what we got. So that fucker was absolutely seized in there, but we got it. And I'm gonna tell you what, if you are not strong, oh, you're gonna play like hell, because I'm strong as shit, and I played like hell getting that out of there. So obviously we're gonna come in here, clean all this stuff up, see what's been dropped behind the valley. You can see there's some bolts snapped. Those 2 dowels, this thing was seized. I don't know if it's an original turbo, but let's pull this off on camera because I haven't touched anything behind here yet. And so that bolt there, Aha! That's where it came from. Let me pause the music. So when I was digging this thing apart, I found this, just randomly chilling, and I found this. So that tells me that this manifold probably warped, and that's what caused the blowing, because you can see that one snapped. So let's hope like hell, oh yeah, you can definitely see the leak down there, but let's hope like hell this manifold's fine. The owner is not planning on modifying this truck. This is a bone stock truck. I think the only thing they did upgrade was a DCR pump. Let's just start spraying stuff and breaking it free. I saw another one over here, so I'm gonna pull that cover off just to see what's going on under there. That way I can give them a visual, but this has not been a fun job at all. Not been fun at all. If I ever do this again, which, I mean, now looking at it, now that the downpipe, I know how that goes. If I ever have to do one again, probably won't be as bad. But, yeah, if I knew that we were doing a turbo, I would have definitely had the option to pull the cab. I just decided we're only doing an up pipe, and that wasn't just the problem. So yeah, that's been fun. But Ford tells you to remove the downpipe so you can get to that bottom clamp. You don't need to do that. It will be a bitch, but you don't need to remove that downpipe. And if you remove that downpipe, your job just got 10 times harder. That thing is a pain in the ass. So you guys remember when I said I saw one of these chilling under there, and I'm like, oh, someone must have been in here before. I found another one, and I'm like, you know what? It's not on this side. Let me just pull, and yes, half the bolts fucking snap. But let me just pull the heat shield away and find out, and look at that. So one snapped. Everything else looks all right. I only see one. So I'm just gonna bring it to his attention and hope he doesn't tell me to fix it. But if he tells me to fix it, then we get to pull this guy off. And if those bolts snap, well, then we got to order the re-drill kit, and yeah, so let's get that off first, see where we're at. Hopefully nothing snaps. Oh, it's gonna be fun. Fun. I've been letting them soak for a while. So you don't have to remove the downpipe to do this, but I do recommend taking these nuts off. And I understand that it is supported up there, but this gives you a little bit of wiggle room here. If you take a pry bar in there, that thing's gonna move. So even if it just moves a smidge, that's literally all you need, because some of these turbos will be seized in here, but I cannot find anything online about if you have to take the downpipe off or not. And I see the 19 trucks, I see the 18 trucks, I see the 11 to 16 trucks. Nothing about a 2020 other than a turbo rebuild on there, and that was an actuator broken. But yeah, so this has been fun. We're gonna get that gasket pulled off. I'm gonna let that soak for probably another 20 minutes. I'm gonna actually soak it again because we don't want these things to break. Now, if for some reason they break, I believe BD's the one who makes the higher flow stuff. I would always recommend doing that, but someone else also mentioned that once these things warp, if you flatten them out, that's it. They've already warped, because somebody said that about the Hemis, and they're like, we've gotten them redone, and once they warp once, that's it. They warped. And then you flatten them and they're good forever, is what they say. I can't 100% say if that's true or not, but here you go. We got the turbo out, and I'm gonna vacuum down in here a while, clean if there's any residual coolant, any of the other residual bullshit that's in here, and just get it all cleaned out and prepped. So here's where we're at. So now that we can see a lot of stuff, you guys see all the soot down there on that guy, and then there's soot here, and then it kind of wraps its way around here, but then over here, you can see it's soot, and then it converts to a bunch of leaky oil. So that's where we're at, but he was complaining of a high-pitched squealing noise, and that's the side that I can see all the soot. So we're gonna have to get all of this cleaned up, vacuum it all out. You can see all the crud that's on the bottom of it. The only two studs that did not come out were these two. Obviously that one didn't have a nut on it, but you can see they pretty much seized themselves to the nuts. So we'll get all that retorqued back down, Now we get the decision to decide if we're gonna mess with this side or not. It would be nice to be able to take this guy off. I might end up just cutting it there so I can pull this off and take a look. That way we don't have to take this off, because he really does not want me to take that off. But if we're already this far in, I wanna see, even if we do that manifold and we don't take those top bolts off and we just take these off, I'm pretty sure these aren't the problem child. Those over there are. So, yeah, give me a second. I'm gonna cut right here just so that we can pull this off and not remove that EGR pipe. He really does not want me to remove it. Or, I wonder if I can snake that through. I might even be able to just do that. Give me a second here. All right, so I'm glad I did that, and I didn't cut it or anything. I was just able to bend it and get it up out of the way so that we could at least see what's going on under there. And if you guys can see, you got 2 snapped studs. And I haven't touched any of this. So before you guys come at me in the comments, I know someone will be like, oh yeah. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to do it. Like, for me to send this down the road like that, you know what I mean? That's not really acceptable. And I don't know if these, I don't think any of those will snap because they all look good underneath, but I think these manifolds warped. But I don't see any soot yet, but at the same time, we're already this far in. So I'm gonna give the owner a call, let him know. I mean, I can take the manifold off without, you know, taking this off. At least I'm pretty sure. And then we can just snake it back in, so that way we don't have to touch the EGR bolts that snap. So I'm gonna give him a call. And keep in mind too, guys, I could literally just half-ass slap this back together. Initially, that's what I was told to do with, let's just throw an up pipe in it. But it's like, you're already this far in. I don't like doing that to my people. I'd rather call and get an answer first. If they tell me to throw it back together as is, I'll do it, but I like to fix things correctly. I don't do what I used to do. Like where, I mean, on the customer stuff, I never have. But on my stuff, it's like, we'll send it. But on a Powerstroke, it's like, dude, this is a lot of work. So fix it right, and I'll wait for a phone call. All right, we're gonna kill it right around here. This is kind of where we're at. I'm gonna get all this stuff organized, cleaned up. So all these clamps are gonna be replaced with the turbo mounting kit. Wow, is all this stuff expensive. So for everything, just parts-wise, is gonna be around 800 bucks. That includes all new clamps, gaskets, gasket for that. That includes the machine shop. That includes a new crankcase ventilation filter. Oh my God, these things are expensive. 367,000 miles. I just looked at how many miles this thing had. So we're gonna get everything covered up. That way this thing's secure. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to pull this out because I have other stuff coming in. So I also need to go and buy more carts because I am out of carts like this. Yeah, also I did have to go. I'm just gonna eat the cost of that because I snapped it. I don't know if it was my fault or it's just old, but we got the lower heater hose coming. Sorry, upper inlet. So this whole pipe right here is gonna get replaced because there's a nub on the top, and unfortunately it got me. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect, but I will eat my mistake, and I'm just gonna go ahead and buy that. That was like $51. So it is what it is. We're gonna get this thing cleaned up, all this stuff cleaned up, vacuumed out. I'm probably gonna be into this a total of about a day and a half, and plus the parts and everything. So if you guys are looking into doing this, yeah, that's kind of, it sucks. If you guys are gonna do it, pull the cab. I don't know. I guess, I mean, I saw a lot of guys, they don't pull the cabs to do the turbos. But if you're doing a down pipe, I would just pull the cab. Honestly, it's not worth it. And I did see the 19 and back trucks. They want you to remove the tranny lines, and just, I was looking into some of that stuff. It's definitely not a fun job. But it's kind of nice to know that we can throw these clamps away. None of these clamps are going to get reused. So I just need to drop off, that's the downpipe clamp. I just need to drop off these guys at the machine shop. And it looks like we get new ones of these. So I don't know. I'm going to drop this all off like this, and hopefully they don't have to take this off. They said if it doesn't interfere with anything, they'll run it. But if it does, these are the bolts that snap. So yeah, let's hope they don't snap. I guess you'll see in another video if I remember how to put this thing back together. That's just what you guys gotta wonder. Do I know how to put back together a Ford that I've torn apart for the past couple days? And mind you, I didn't have all of my time to put into this. Like, I didn't work on it all in one shot. I had other things to do. I also still do mobile jobs occasionally, and I still have other shop stuff coming in. We have been working on this black truck over here. We just did a wire harness on that. I gotta finish up the wire harness job on that, but yeah, so it's honestly looking like I'm gonna be busy probably the rest of the week, including into next week, and we will see. So I'm gonna get my mess cleaned up, get this thing all wrapped up to be able to put the hood up or down, and then cover it with some rags. That way we make sure that nothing gets into the intake, and we'll go from there.